Hi, I'm Jerry Drager at Drager's Classics in Burlington, Washington, our new location. What I want to present to you today is this 1948 Chevy three-window pickup. It's all stock and it's just a great running, driving truck. I'm driving north on I-5 heading for Burlington, Washington. This thing's converted to 12 volts. That's a 216 engine and it runs good. I drove it up here 50 plus miles and it just drove great down the freeway. Grill is nice. There's the headlights on. Turn signal. Right. And how about the horn? Oh, and the horn works good. No wipers. The wipers don't work. There's a vacuum line going to them, but we have no idea what's going on there. So we got to work on that a little bit. Anyway, we're going to get it cleaned up a little better, and so it's looking better. But you know, it's a good looking truck. Tires are like new on it. In fact, there's still nobbins showing on a thing, so they haven't been on there very long, or they haven't been driven far. But look at that reflection in there. You can it's like a mirror. And so this truck is really straight and nice that way. It all just looks really good. Got this rack on here around on the bed, and actually I wouldn't take it off. I like it. So got like 4 new tires on here, and it's got the wood bed in here. It's you can take it out, I guess, and refinish it if you wanted to. They'd probably refinish, but it's a lot of work to take them out. I know we're not going to do that, but this gives you a good idea what this truck. And look at the chrome, and there's a spare tire right there underneath there. Chrome bumper's nice. It's actually got some, yeah, I think they might come off, but I don't think they will. I think that's chips in the chrome, but hard to say. But look at that. So how about back here, turn signals, brake lights? Okay, there's a turn signal. There's a turn signal. Brake light, tail light. See, so that all works good. Everything's working good that way. That's the filler cap right there for it. And you can just see it's like a mirror finish on here. It just looks really, really good. I don't know how this window cranks, if it cranks good or bad. I haven't tried it. Oh, it cranks easy. Look at that. Window goes up and down nice. That looks good. And I like how clean this dash is and everything else. The radio does not work. Start it up. And of course the 12 volt just spins it nice. Turn on, now the heater's right there, and you can hear the fan blowing. It blows good. And dome light works. Look at that. So all this looks real good in here. There are no visors. You can get visors to put it in. I assume there might have been something happened to this panel right there, because it's different than the rest of the material. We just assume that. Have no idea. And again, it's running good. It'll clean up good too when it gets all said and done. It's a nice truck. It really is. The more you look at this truck, the better it looks. I think it's going to be a good truck. So that door panel's all good. How's that window crank? Oh yeah, see, that goes up and down good. And you can see it's got the turn signals right there. They didn't come with turn signals back in those days. And the mileage is right there. And you can see the gauges. They're all working and everything. And here's the VIN tag right here. It's all good, just like it's supposed to be. This truck hasn't been played with a whole lot. It does have a issue underneath here a little bit. I don't know the extent of it, but there is some fiberglass matting in here. You can't probably see it too well, but there is some. And I was looking at the photos. I noticed that it wasn't perfect or great, and it has a little bit of issue in here, and it's got the fiberglass mat like we had down underneath here, yet on the bottom side there's nothing you can see on the when you look at the video of the underside. You won't see anything bad there, and it may be the same thing here. It's hard to say. The paint's a little loose right there. I just want to make sure you understand this truck. It's a great truck. So I could see that this corner here has been re-welded or so. Hard to say what exactly happened in here, but there's down in the bottom there. In fact, I can stick my finger down there, I think, and you can see my finger. So the drain hole's there, but it looks like they did some patching on here, and you can't feel it on the outside. But again, that's something I wanted to show you. Well, I wanted to show you underneath the seat here, and you can see the floor pan in there is just great. It's just original. It's never been played with. Nothing's been cut or holes or rust or anything that I could see in there at all. It's decent shape, and everything looks great. We're going to take a look inside this cab corner, and you can see in here behind the seat that it all looks good and solid and clean and not all rusty. But now we're going to go in here so you can see down in there. Everything looks okay in there. Anyway, you can just see that it's not been worked on like the other side has. So this is a 1948 Chevy 3-window pickup. It's all stock. We're going to go underneath and look at the underside so you can see how good a shape it's in. Great truck. I mean, it's really solid. It's had a good life. And you can see the spare tires right here, and it's an old wide wall. You could have cleaned that up a little bit, but that's okay. Anyway, we kind of cleaned on the underside here. It really didn't need a whole lot. Just we wanted to make it look good. I like this. It's cut out plate here to tell you what the gear ratio is. So I've never seen that before, but it's kind of cute. So you can just see everything good and solid. Here's your gas tank back here, mounted underneath the bed, and you can see everything looks good in here. It's really solid. The bed's in good shape. These corners right here, you can see up in here, you can see it's a little rough along the edges. That's probably the worst thing I've seen in this whole truck is right there. But the drain vents, the holes for the drain vents are still right there in there like they're supposed to be on both sides. You can see up in there, and then there's the drain vent right there. But both sides are the same. The rest of these floor pans are all real good underneath here. I mean, just look at them. They're really good, solid. Now there's some fiberglass above the transmission in there underneath the mat, and I don't know why, because there's not a hole or anything down here. Doesn't even look like it ever rusted or anything down here. All these floor pans look really good. I'd say this is almost a total rust-free truck. We just got a few spots in there that they've been played with. The engine, the transmission, and and all that. Looks good. I mean, we cleaned and painted on some of this stuff, but usually you can't clean and paint them very well because they're all full of crud, and it's almost impossible. This truck was clean and nice. It's a good driving truck. I drove it up the freeway and it just runs and drives great. That just shows you the whole thing there. I think you'd be real happy with this truck. Okay, I'm reaching down here and there's the exhaust manifold. It's cold right now. Of course, that's cold. And I wanted to take this video because you look at the old other parts of the video on this engine, you'll notice that this now has the painted, the horns painted up nice and the valve covers painted orange. And of course it still runs pretty good. Also, this is all, we repainted this in a flat black and just dressed it up a lot more than what it was. So we didn't change anything so far as the engine goes or anything. You can see it really looks good. I mean, it's all just clean and nice. That's a nice truck. Go ahead and back it out. That closes good. Just runs and drives great. The radio does not work. I played with it, and normally they don't work anyway, but this one does not. So, we're going to go up the freeway for you. transmission all worked nice and smooth. We're in farm country up here, so you see all sorts of interesting rigs. It's the same sound I've heard for years and years. I've driven a lot of these trucks. I grew up in these pickups, and it's the same sound and it's always sounded. So behind the seat was this orange file with all this stuff in it, and you can see it's Charlotte Auto Fair 1987 and another show there. And then I got just a bunch of receipts in there. Back as far as 1985, but they're just all sorts of receipts. I didn't look through them real close to see. I was just mainly interested in seeing how many there were. So it looks like it's been in North Carolina and Columbus, Ohio, and all that from all these different receipts and stuff. So anyway, I just think it's interesting, and it goes with the car or the truck.